Welcome to the Vision Profiles podcast. Join us, dedicated Apple Vision Pro users, as we dive into everything from hardware and software to apps and the latest updates in the world of Apple Vision Pro. I'm Marty Jensius, a faculty member at a Midwest University, a podcaster, and an Apple product fan.
And I'm Eric Bolden, back from vacation, but not totally back. I work in IT, but my interest is in finding interesting ways to share content. Currently, photography of plants, birds, and panoramic sequences.
And I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast. I am passionate about technology, especially Apple, and use it in real-world experience as a 27-year IT professional, iPhone subject matter expert, and I learn new things about the Vision Pro every day.
Just a reminder that you can catch the live stream on youtube.com/@visionprofiles Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or catch the video later on YouTube or the audio on any podcatcher service. And I've been kind of thin on Vision Pro notes, usually trying to get them out 3 days a week. There just has not been the news. And for example, the big news this week about the new headset, that's smothered everything in terms of the news feeds. That's all people wanted to talk about, and we'll talk a little bit about it on the show tonight. First, I want to check, hey, Dave.
Hey.
Did you try the Hover headset?
I did try it. I'm not excited about it. I know it was a $64 experiment. I mean, I'm looking forward to the dual strap. That's coming next week, I think. Because I think that's going to give it a little more balance. It still feels a little, even with the strap. I wonder how it will be with the dual strap if I put that on to see if it's still, because you're lifting up like I call them old glass sunglass flips. But I think overall it's a cool product. I have tend to doubt that they're going to get too much sales with this thing. I don't know how. It's kind of a niche product, honestly.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the show notes for folks to take a look at it again.
Yeah,
I think with the dual knit gear that they have coming out, I think people will be drawn to that product.
Yeah,
to see how it works, and they might wait for that product. I put the Hover headset on again today as I was trying to get the beta set up and also to look at an app. And I just found it much more clumsier than the first time I tried it. First time it just kind of sat there, and this time it was like, and I tried adjusting it and everything like that, but it just felt a little too wobbly. And I got your headsets, your eyes are too far away from the display warning multiple times. So, if I have to goof with it every time I put it on, it makes it less of a enjoyable strap or head strap to put on. So, and Dave, you've got breaking news.
I do. Samsung apparently is going to be announcing their Vision Pro killer, I think. Its competitor, I guess you'd say. There is a Galaxy event that's going to be happening tomorrow as we record, that it's going to unveil a long-awaited Project Muhan mixed reality headset to compete with the Apple Vision Pro. And Samsung says it's ushering in a new era in its upcoming AI native devices. Boy, it sure looks a lot like the Vision Pro, I must say. Just looking at the pictures of it, and they kind of announced it back in January of this year, and it's taken this long from the finally to decide, okay, I guess it's time to release it, just after Apple just released their new upgraded model last week. So obviously more to come once we watch the event and hear about the event tomorrow, and we can obviously report back next week on this. But this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. I'm running Android XR. That doesn't excite me very much either, their OS, but we'll definitely see where it goes here.
So, I'm looking at this, and for folks watching the YouTube stream, they have a picture of it. In past renditions, it's always been sort of a mock-up version of it. And I'm wondering if this is the actual item or if this is still a mock-up. The back pad of the headset looks like something out of Meta. So it looks like a mashup of a Meta. Meta has its own special back strap that you can buy that cushions the back of the occipital lobe and tightens up around it. I just wonder if this is a real, if you look in the reflection in the glass of the headset looks like it's got a Samsung phone. In the reflection, you can see the 3 cameras on a square that looks set up like that. So who knows? Daniel, any thoughts on this?
I think they did. I think some people have tried on and demoed it before. So I think that those are real photos, if I'm remembering correctly. Like these are real. I mean, maybe the final version will be slightly different, but the timing, after Apple did their refresh and then now they're going to announce theirs. Looking back, I don't know why I never thought that, they're just going to announce theirs immediately after whatever Apple does. I feel like that's just what they're doing because, and we'll get into talking about the spec bump Vision Pro and why perhaps I might be more excited to hear about Muhan than the Vision Pro or spec bump that had just come out. But, but all that remains to be seen. We'll find out tomorrow.
Eric, any thoughts?
It's good to have it out there. They needed to announce it after Apple just so there's enough focus on it. Yeah, I hope it does a really good job of supporting a virtual computer screen of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be kind of one of the more important functions of a headset these days.
Yeah, all I have to do to get this is to change my complete ecosystem.
Yeah.
Buy a bunch of apps that run on Android and Android-based devices, so it's all integrated. Get a new watch, get a new phone. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I can't see me making the investment in this. I'm curious about the price. I'm curious about the specs. I'll be curious about its interoperability in terms of productivity, whether that is really going to be an option with this, like we see with Vision Pro. But apparently Eastern time, 10 o'clock Eastern time or 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Damn.
And I will see if I can tune into that event and learn a little bit more about it. So it says PM in the announcement. So what is that? Is that like, because we're dealing with, oh, wow. So anyways, that's what it says in terms of the event. So interesting news. I think we have an article we'll talk about that compares specs, or at least what the predictive specs are with it. Yes, we couldn't get away without having an upgrade to Vision OS 26.1. Beta 4 was released today. I think it's 8.8 gigabyte as I attempted to download it. Out of habit now, checking my devices at 1 o'clock on Eastern time on Mondays just to see if there are any new updates coming down, because they've been pretty regular and pretty weekly with the updates on all devices. So it wasn't only Vision Pro that received an update, but the iPad received an update. I was interested in that because of the iPad, because of the new app on the iPad that is related to Vision Pro. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But comparing it to the previous version of Beta 3 to Beta 4, there are no new features, as you might guess. It's basically the same as Beta 3, but they did some background asset reliability and controller timestamp accuracy, blood pressure authorization, and save logic. Still recompiles with 26.1 SDK. No new code changes required. User experience is unchanged. There's just not a lot in this that would be visible to folks. And it's more of a confirmation of the previous release from what I can read about it and what it says. It's a stability validation build, confirming prior fixes hold up under additional testing. I'm likely to prepare for public release. So that's what this is with Beta 4. Functionality identical to Beta 3. So nothing to write home about. Not even any sexy stuff under the hood that we can talk about. Obviously no new services or no new additional pieces there. So, all right. So the big news, hey, there's a new Vision Pro. I ordered one. It should arrive Wednesday morning. I told people I might be late for a meeting because I'm running to the store early in the morning to pick it up, hopefully along with some other stuff there. But I'm there when store opens and I'm scheduled to be able to pick mine up. And we'll have no time over the next 2 days to play with it. So we'll see how that goes. But there's quite a few articles. The big change here is the M5 chip. And so I've listed a few of the articles in here. And guys, I'm curious about any of your reactions to these kinds of things. It's silent.
I'll let one of the other guys go first. I have complex feelings.
No, you should go, Danny, because we talked a little bit about it last week.
Okay, sure. I've been struggling to find the right word or words on how I feel about it. I guess I almost want to say underwhelmed, but I feel like that's even strong because everything that came out, we knew for the most part. And I think, to be fair, with most Apple products, we know that a lot more and more every year. Like every new product, we know more and more before it comes out. But then there's always like a curveball here or there. And I don't feel like there was any kind of curveball. And not that necessarily I was necessarily expecting any. I wasn't. I had no expectations. I didn't see anything that was necessarily new. And I mean, I guess you wouldn't expect something new in a spec bump, but I didn't see any reason presented to get the new version from a computing like capability perspective. Sure, great. Apple Intelligence is improved. Like the performance is better on it. Okay. The few things that were compelling to me about it was the improved focus, like 10% additional. I'm reading that as 10% additional foveated rendering area. So all that area is sharper. That's significant, but not unexpected from more compute available. Being able to bump to 120 hertz, that actually was, I guess that's a little bit of a curveball because I guess I would assume they're using the same panels. I don't know if the panels are changed, but if they're the same panels, it's just, I don't know, kind of nice to know that was available. That could have been there from if they had the compute, so they were just compute bound. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I really was hoping they would present cases for the additional compute. And, you know, I think this whole headset industry is in like a chicken and egg kind of scenario. And this isn't new, right? Like all the headsets, VR headsets as well. Like we need developers to come and make the apps so that the device is compelling, but the device isn't compelling the developers to come make the apps. And I think that was something that they really needed to do with a spec bump version, especially since like adoption was already low, somewhat expectedly low. And, you know, there was so much hype. And I guess maybe that's one thing that Apple will never live up to is hype of the products in some ways, even though it's, well, now I don't know where I'm saying that statement now. Now I'm just kind of rambling on the device. But as far as the other parts of the announcement, though, new headband. I regret not pre-ordering one. Now they're back ordered. I gotta do it like right after this. I'm excited to try it. I think it'll improve the comfort for a lot of people, myself included. I still think I might find myself wanting to use some of the third-party options, but I would definitely use that in certain scenarios. Like I took my partner to the hospital, and that would be one scenario where I don't use like the Anna Pros or whatnot, because I'll wear it around my neck, and that doesn't really work out because those are hard and rigid. But the new one being dual knit and soft, I could do that. And then we did actually get also confirmation of the controllers, the Sony controllers being for sale, and the stylus finally. So that was nice to see as well. But you can also lump those two in with the spec bump. Is it was your responsibility, Apple, to show us some compelling reasons to bring these things together, to get these things. So that is somewhat concerning that they didn't. And at the same time, we know there's big pushes for other vision related products. So maybe it's just
everything that day I was sitting in the hospital doing pre-op testing. My wife was doing pre-op testing, and everything that day was coming out in press release or posts in the newsroom. And, what you're calling for, Daniel, is saying, it would have been nice if they would have had like a 5-minute or 10-minute video just to show how this is going to help and in what scenarios it would help, and maybe even a demonstration of the Muse pen as part of, or the controllers as a new part of it, just to give it a little more reasoning of why this is important and sized out the way it should be. Yeah, about the controllers, I guess November 11th is when they are going to be available, and I think it's a controller and a charging station for the controllers, and they're selling that for $250. Some chatter I saw on that was I can just get the controllers independently for a reasonable price, or get one attached to an actual system for a reasonable price instead of buying the standalone for that cost. That's an interesting take, Daniel. I do. There are parts I agree with you on that it's underwhelming, but it'll be interesting. All the devices that will have an M5 chip in it now. Guys, any other comments or more comments?
I had a couple things. One is, it wasn't something so phenomenally fantastic that everyone really should upgrade. I think they made changes for people that really needed some slight improvements, a little bit more battery, a little bit more speed, better refresh rates with virtual displays, and definitely the new dual knit band. Those are big. The fact that you can get a dual knit band and put it on the old machine, I think was important. To me, all this says is, they updated it a little bit, kind of minimally fixing things and improving things, not so much that anyone who has a current machine must upgrade. It's more like there are a couple people that would benefit from upgrading, but depending on how you're using it, there may not be a need to update, but get the dual knit headband and, get extra comfort and easier adjustments. That seems to be pretty big. And then for a few people where their systems were being pushed, or they're doing a lot of work with the Mac virtual display, it's looking like an update might be worth it in that case. So, it was good in that they didn't abandon the first generation users. I know there have been some people saying, oh, we should have some sort of upgrade path and they should pay a lot to kind of bring our unit back. But to me, the way they've been doing this, it's more of, the system was actually pretty decent to start with. It still is a good machine. There are some improvements and some people will benefit from those improvements, but really the biggest was the dual knit band, and in theory everyone could have gotten it up until recently, now that it's sort of sold out for a while, but that will come back.
Yeah, I like to say I got my dual knit band when it went on sale by having a Vision Pro unit attached to it. So we'll see. I'll run through some of the articles and we'll splash them up on the screen with some of the comments and why it matters from these articles. Dave, do you have anything to add?
No, I mean, again, I'm so glad I pre-ordered this all, and I'm looking forward to getting it. But beyond that, no, there isn't much else I can say. We talked a lot about it, I guess, last time.
Yeah, you kind of alerted me to it. I got a text message, and it showed that you had gotten the dual band. And I was like, oh, and that's when I started finding out about the press releases and getting into the Apple store to get some things that were there. And I thought I was all done shopping. And then you sent me a text message that said, hey, the Muse is out too.
Damn you.
I was like, gee, thanks, Dave. And it was fun because
I ordered it.
because, my wife was in getting some pre-op test. I was with her. There was a nurse practitioner asking her all sorts of questions. And I'm holding up my iPhone, like trying to get it to size my head again. And the nurse is like, what the hell are you doing? Your wife is getting pre-op testing and you're playing with your damn phone.
All right. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to rescan it for the dual knit too. Yeah. Thank God I didn't. I worked my way through the eye stuff on the new headset, and they were like, "Do you wear contacts?" Well, it's complicated. I wear contacts. I do have reader inserts when I'm not wearing contacts. Screw it. As long as the eye shapes are the same, just give it to me, straight up, and I'll manage my vision. And I got through that part because I thought that was going to be. It's always been agony in the past, and I thought that was going to be.
Well, and I'm happy that a lot of the components seem to be backwards compatible. So if you have the little drop-in, eyeglasses bit, you can just move them to the new machine. Yeah, so that was good. What was the other thing? Are we going to talk about the developer?
Yeah, it's developer strap. We'll talk about later. Yeah, because I figured that's of interest to you. Yeah, cool. A new world is happening in our chat room. Is interested in the 120 hertz and faster dev strap from USB 2.0. Said Wi-Fi 6 is a disappointment that they didn't push it to Wi-Fi 7 as an option with the new device. I was disappointed we didn't get an R2 chip that would have been of great influence. One of the things I read or heard about it was an article that says, 120 hertz is really going to make a difference because most of what you're doing, although it can go up to 90 or 100 hertz, most of what you're doing, particularly with the Mac Virtual Display, is done at 60. So you're really, it looks by the numbers like it's a little jump, but it really is impactful. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if that 120 hertz, and it's up to, right? Like, 'cause I notice, and I don't know if you guys notice, like, when you go into maybe certain rooms, turn on lights, they might flicker for a little while, and then the headset adjusts and realizes and adjusts to the refresh rate of the lights in the room, but it's also a change in the refresh rate of what it's rendering as well, or at least it seems like it is. I'm pretty sure it is, but it feels like it is. But so if that 120 hertz applies to all the pass-through as well, right? Like, that would be a big deal or a nice leap into, if you use the Vision Pro for any amount of time, you become really aware you're living your life through a camera and all of the cons of cameras, like blur and whatever, even though it's still the best out there today, you still blur. And, what's the refresh rate of your eyes? Infinity, it's definitely more than 90. So anything to make that look smooth and much more seamless, and that would probably help. I'm sure, I don't know if any of you guys ever had any motion sickness with it. I haven't, but that would definitely help people who are sensitive to that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it being smoother all around, but nope, rambling.
Yeah. Let me run through some of these articles that we have, and of course you can get them in the show notes and some of the significance of the articles that are available there. So Tech Radar is one article I put up. It really gives you a good overview of what's available with the headset, the M5 chip, sets the sort of the launch context for it, and a foundation for understanding all the other articles that have come out on it. Gadget hacks, and Dave always kids me, where do you find these sources? Gadget hacks evaluates the productivity. So it really kind of says, now that you've got a 120 hertz, what does it mean in terms of a workstation and usability? So that's, and Apple Vision Pro M5 review, finally ready for work. Okay, this is really a stretch. I don't know how I found this. O'Grady's Power Page is the site, or powerpage.org. You've been on it. Okay. What matters the most is it adds concrete usable detail, faster charging, and accessory kind of refinement. So Apple announces M5-based Vision Pro includes dual knit handband, faster charging, and other feature. O'Grady, I guess, really wanted to not miss anything in the search engine. So longest title, I think, we have this week. Glass Almanac comes up with Vision Pro M5 reveals 10% more pixels and 120 hertz in 1925, why it matters now, and frames the M5 as a strategic move to kind of sustain this visual reality kind of market. So another good article from them. We go to Apple Insider, and Apple Insider, new Apple Vision Pro with M5 doubles a refresh rate of the Mac Virtual Display. That was something we just kind of mentioned. It clarifies the key productivity enhancement for Mac-centric users. And Apple Vision Pro, this is coming out of Next Reality, or Virtual Reality News. And it adds AI efficiency story linking Vision Pro to Apple Intelligence. That's a big thing. It's kind of the big joke, too, is, oh, great, we've got something that's more efficient for Apple Intelligence, but we really don't have Apple Intelligence yet. So what does that say? And then there is another article from Virtual Reality News, and this speaks about the GPU improvements, the M5 upgrade, 4 times the GPU power changes the game as far as Virtual Reality News feels. It's a game changer for spatial computing, and how much better are the displays and the battery improvements. There is a slight battery improvement in this device where you're getting an extra half hour or so. So anything up to 2.5 to 3 hours with this. And that's probably because of chip efficiency, if anything else. Not all articles were loving this new device. There were a couple, and I have some of the news about that. 2 of them. One is from The Ghost Howls. And again, another interesting source and site. New Apple Vision Pro is boring, but it may be the right move for Apple. And it's a disappointment of the XR community, and then sort of more of a editorial analysis in mixed reality and issues with mixed reality. And then our friend, Tom's Guide, Apple Vision Pro M5 chip is unveiled. Tom cannot say something nice without then getting into some sort of weird backhanded compliment. The M5 chip is unveiled. Here's all the upgrades and what's missing. And of course, they talk about the chip. They remind us what the price is, when it's available. And then they talk about the dual knit band. That's new. And then what's missing? A new R2 chip is missing. Talks about the weight reduction, or actually the weight increase, and was worried a little bit about that we should be getting a cheaper price for this, that there should be a slight price reduction. So yeah, and it's attached to a battery pack. So that's everything Tom could come up with in terms of bad news about it.
Yeah, I think I'll say my last thing on it is that I was just sitting here thinking now of that over the last year and a half or so, I was immensely more excited about the software updates and even just the small quality of life things that they brought, just even the real simple flipping your finger around to the control center or the home button, just even super small stuff like that, I was infinitely more excited for than the spec bump version. And now maybe in 6 months, there'll be an update that introduces a bunch of stuff that my old one might not be able to do. But I feel like you needed to do them together. Because I think actually really it's all in the software. Like they probably could have gotten away without a spec bump version and just really focus on software UI UX improvements. And that would have been a better, that would have splashed harder than a spec bump version.
Except,
Go ahead, Eric.
well, I was going to say, except that if you make people too happy, they will start buying the hardware. And that if you do a spec bump after that, then everybody gets pissed off because they just bought the hardware. This way, a spec bump, you haven't done the software yet, so the people who have the current version aren't unhappy because there's not that much of a change. Then you can start coming out with software updates, and then the people where it matters will say, "Oh yeah, that's enough," and then they buy it. But you can still resell your old device because the market hasn't crashed. Because for most people, it's the same thing. It hasn't changed enough. There's one feature I really want to know the answer, but when you're looking at a spatial image that you took with your phone, you can click that spatialize button on a photo that's already spatial, and it basically cleans it up so that both eyes are balanced, and it's just a much smoother picture, less eye strain inducing, but it takes a few seconds to take effect. So I am hopeful with the new processor that you click the button and it just gives you the improved picture. So I'm hoping that they're like little speed improvements like that. That for me, that would be enough to make it worthwhile. Then I would be forced to update.
I will depend on you guys to give me ideas of how to push it, to answer the questions that you have about what makes the M5 any better. And I guess it's not called Apple Vision Pro 2. I guess
No, it's not.
it's called Apple Vision Pro M5. That's how I'm seeing it referred to.
They're doing it like iPads.
Yeah, just a direct upgrade, not above
Right.
full upgrade. Just a processor bump, basically.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to that nomenclature because I struggle with what to call it, and I guess I just need to, and that's fine. As long as I can get it straight in my head. It's the Vision Pro M5. I forgot to mention one of our favorite guys, Mark Gurman, who likes to share exciting rumors, and then when they come true, he likes to take a dump on them. And the latest Power On newsletter from Bloomberg is Apple M5 product lineup offers its most minor upgrade in years. So he's talking about the whole product and basically saying, this is what's happened. They put a new processor in it, and that's about it. Were there any other products? What? Yeah, that's so edgy. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other of the devices that came out that captured your interest in the upgrades. I think it really depends on where you are with your current device. So yeah, if you're, and I'm sure Dave will talk more about these on Thursday with In Touch with iOS in terms of people making decisions about what they have and whether they should with it. I'm not a big iPad user. I think I'm a bigger iPad buyer than I am a user of iPads. And I think I'm just going to... Yeah, but nothing got me to upgrade in this process. Yeah, because I just don't use my iPad as much as I would dreamed I could have. It's like, what do I grab? It's always going to be the MacBook Air or the MacBook Pro, depending on what I'm doing. So, well, Gurman was not impressed with that. I do want to ask, and then we have an article that compares the Vision Pro versus the M2 Apple Vision Pro and the M5 versus the M2, and give some idea about the stability in computing and maybe seeing some insight. That comes from Apple Insider. Like I said, they basically really pushed this as much as they could in terms of news. Every way that they could come up with a story around the M5 on any of the devices. That they just kind of flooded news sources with it. And this article does have a good technical comparison between the M5 and the M2. There is a slight weight change, which I find interesting, because a big part of the argument was, are we going to get a lighter version of it? And mixed articles on that. Some people said, if you look at the device itself, it's actually lighter. If you put the dual loop band on, it's heavier.
Oh,
Because there are supposedly ribs in the lower band that will add to the stability of it. So it will be that same sort of solo loop band, but with metal ribs in it to kind of contour and hold place on your head. And that adds to the actual weight of the device. Daniel, you look perplexed.
Oh no, I mean, all the comments about the weight increase around on the internet, my brain didn't consider yeah, of course, because the band that comes with, there's more band that comes with it. Despite what it's made out of, there's just literally more matter there. Like, duh, of course. I'd actually wish they didn't have the weight. I'm assuming they're doing the weight with the head strap. I'd love to see the weight listed on the page of just the unit, right? Because how much weight you're putting in your head is just completely dependent on what band you get, right? And I'm actually curious if they're going to have what's the other one? The one that came and that wasn't, they had the solo loop and then the dual loop, yeah. Like the weight would be definitely lighter on that one versus the solo loop.
I don't think you're going to see the dual loop band anymore. I think that will go away.
Yeah.
I would agree with that, yeah, with the new one too.
Yeah.
And I thought I read something that the new dual knit band actually has extra weight to act as a counterbalance on one of the straps.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It was
Where the extra weight is coming from.
It's the stability with the ribbing, and it also acts to counteract the weight. The other thing to consider about the device is they're doing some different piping with the heat elements in there. So that's new structurally in it, and that could also impact weight, either positive or negatively. But the idea of getting that nice, fresh, hot air blowing into your face, they're looking at other ways to some type of piping that dissipates the heat differently away from it, and then probably affects battery life and affects processing and such. So, yeah, I'm interested in getting your guys' reactions to this. This is Apple's new Vision Pro dual knit band proves popular. And Eric, did you get one of these?
Yeah, I ordered one as soon as the announcement hit. I might even have managed to order it before Dave finished ordering.
Oh, wow.
The record.
Yeah, I'm never that fast.
Yeah.
But I hit, what did it for me is the spec page has got a video where it shows the dial. And the dial has two positions, in rotating and then pull out a little and rotate so you can adjust both bands, and being able to micro adjust both bands independently. That was, yeah.
Oh,
I was all in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
well, because every once in a while I need to adjust the dual loop band, but it's like you rip your head off and then stick the Velcro back on and then rip it off and stick it back on. You know, a couple little clicks looks way better. You know, when people talk about, hey, are you willing to go to a coffee shop and wear this in front of people? I'm telling you, with a little adjustment knob on the side, I'm much more willing to frequent a coffee shop versus the rip thing. And then for a lot of people, they want to be able to quickly loosen everything, you know, and either have it hang or set it down and then put it back on and then adjust it. I think you can get a much better fit. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's why I could never do the dual one. It was just very fiddly and the Velcro makes noise, and then you gotta move it back and do one and then get the other one right. And then yeah, see why I like the solo, aside from the easy adjustment for the viewers, I'm putting my Vision Pro on around my neck like a big necklace But when I'm out and about and using it, I can just quickly like loosen it and just drop it down like that and just wear it from my neck, which I can't do that with any other aftermarket like strap add-on, right? Because then it's going to be right here. And I'm going to have it on my face. I'm going to look like Bane, but the Vision Pro covering them out. But then now I can't bring it up and put it back on. So I have to like kind of awkwardly unhook it and then put it back on normal. But still, that makes it far more usable for me. So, yeah, I'm really excited for it.
So, Daniel, did you order one of these or no?
No, I need to. I gotta
So you can't do it without doing a measurement.
Yeah. When you ordered your new ones, see.
No, I guess not. I mean, the first thing I did was, oh, dummy, take your glasses off. Because that was the same mistake I made when I tried to measure it the first time.
There's only 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. So
yeah, but I mean, for me with the whole device, they had
I'm getting the strap. Sorry.
Yeah, they had me, to do that, and then they figured out the strap that would fit. So, Dave, when is yours coming?
Well, it's interesting. I'm looking on my Apple Store app, and it says it arrives October 22nd, and then below that it says October 30th to November 6th. I'm like, what the heck? Because I go into that. Yeah, it's and above it says delivers Wednesday October 26th by express delivery. Then you go below that, yeah, October 30th and November 6th. Yeah, what's up?
Yeah. They're going to get it in the store, and then they're going to make you wait for it.
The Logitech Muse arrives on this Wednesday.
Yeah, mine still says October 23rd to October 30th.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So are yours going to the store, or are they going delivered home? Or can you even deliver home?
Yeah, something like that. I'm not going to go to the store and pick that up. That's silly.
Yeah. Oh, so yours is coming to your home, Dave?
To my home, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to pick up stuff, hopefully. Well, I know my Vision Pro will be there 10 o'clock on Wednesday. So.
Very expensive.
You couldn't ship it to your home. I didn't have that option at all. Yeah. So yeah, exciting. It'll be exciting to try this out and to have that. Eric kind of alluded to this. I'm trying to also watch our time because we've been going for a while here. Eric also alluded to this about early adopters. Let's ask Apple for a fair upgrade. And this is Mac Rumors page. Well, it's Mac Rumors discussion on Apple Vision Pro. Dear Mr. Cook, I've been an Apple customer for most of my life. As a student, I saved for months to buy my first Mac, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I wrote Tim Cook one time because I was pissed about something. It was about the fact that I had gotten onto the iPhone upgrade program when it first came out. And then when the next phone came out, I had to wait in line to get it, although it was an upgrade. And I thought, hey, wait a minute, you've got me bought into your system and now I'm still so I kind of complained about it. I wanted to get one of those black, shiny phones that were so popular. And I got an email back from one of the team. And, he said, we're going to try and make arrangements for you to get the device that you want. And so since then, I think the upgrade program has changed a little bit, at least in terms of people putting in what they want and having that device ready day of.
It's been great for me so far.
Yeah.
It was over the years, but otherwise.
Yeah, I was just, it was not an ask. It wasn't necessarily an angry. It was like, hey, what's going on? This is why I signed on to be part of your plan. So anyway, that's an interesting article to look at, Mac Rumors and comments about early adopters. Now, Eric, did you hear something, or there was some comment about wait till after the 22nd, because then those devices might be something that are tradable in.
Yeah, somebody had called in and asked one of the internal Apple support people what's up with this? And they'd said, wait until after the 22nd, which might just be an answer that they gave because they wanted to give an answer, or it could be real and there'll be something. I mean, the 22nd date appears in a couple other places for other things. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're just kind of waiting to see what happens and certain things weren't ready. Like they definitely weren't ready to deal with people wanting, replacement dual straps. I think that caught them by surprise.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of cruise through these articles, and particularly Eric and maybe Daniel. I don't know if Dave's interested in this. I'm not interested in a developer strap, but there was a burst of articles that came out in the last week. This is Mac Observer's. Apple hints at an updated Vision Pro developer strap arriving October 22nd. iLounge, a new developer strap for Vision Pro, may be released next week. And Apple Insider, Vision Pro developer strap could be a great surprise. And then Mac Rumors, Apple Vision Pro developer strap may receive an upgrade next week. And I guess I have not been following this story because I don't see myself as getting a developer strap for whatever purpose. I know, Eric, you've talked about an interest in doing it. Did you order one?
I just ordered a developer strap. Luckily, I've not yet opened it, and it's within my time frame. I don't know if I want to return it or not. So I want to wait until somebody gets one or they post it so I can see what the differences are. If there's a difference, I'm going to send back the other one.
What's the speculation on the difference? Or are they just saying
the current one is like USB 2. It's really slow.
Yeah.
So one of the speculations is that it will be a USB 3 speed. And so then if you're trying to transfer files, or there are a bunch of people that are trying to do things with video capture cards to be able to plug it into another machine and see that output. And if that works, then, that would be worthwhile. There are a bunch of developers with bigger games that it's just excruciating. It's better than Wi-Fi, but it's still, it's too slow to move the data.
Yeah. Dave, any interest in this at all?
No, I thought it's overpriced. It's a waste of money. I mean, I already did it once when as we have told my story many times that the Apple Store can do for me. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, don't hold back on your feelings, Dave. It's a waste of money.
It is. It honestly is. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, for the average consumer, even the prosumer, it's totally not needed.
You don't have it, Daniel, do you?
No, I don't. I could see a scenario where I'd want to, like if I did make an app, I'm going to want to capture the video and I want the highest quality for my promo videos. 100%, that'd be worth the $300 right there, easy. And then the video capture stuff, that would be cool to see. I'd love to see more support for that, like other headsets have, because that's just more convenient for cases when you don't have wireless. Like frankly, if you're just using a Windows laptop and you have no other means of display out and you want to use a virtual display, like that's great. Otherwise, though, as far as this goes, like Eric was saying, the original is just limited to 2.0 speeds with a USB Type A port. This one looks like it'll be USB Type C, so then you'll have at least the physical ability to get those 3.0 or 3.1 speeds, maybe even Thunderbolt. But
this is one piece of the product I'm glad someone else is testing. Eric, I hope there are some changes for you on when they announce it or people start to talk about it on Wednesday, and then you can get a better connection for your device. Again, being aware of our time, I think we're going to skip apps tonight, if that's okay. There's really not a lot in there. The one app I wanted to put in that I tried and bought, I can't find a link page for, so I'm going to contact the developer and suggest that. But go ahead, Eric.
Spooky Vision.
That's right. Okay. Well, we'll talk about Spooky Vision. But first, the Muse Pencil. The Apple Pencil-like stylish for the Vision Pro. complaints that Apple should be doing this. Why are they turning us loose to Logitech to be able to do it? I've got a couple of articles on it. One is from The Verge, and then one is from Next Reality. And yeah, so talking about the stylus and the precision, the complaints about it are basically that Apple should be doing this. They should do this with their pencil, or they should extend it with their pencil. The pencil is really a device that needs to have kind of touch to a solid object for it to, in this case, an iPad, for it to work. Whereas its relationship with the device is really important. Whereas this Muse stylus is kind of gives you out in space without having to touch anything through to be able to draw and develop. And I am not the best artist, but I will probably be building things with it or attempting to build things with it in the middle of my living space, just to draw out an elephant or something like that in dimensions. And I was talking with my son about this and suggested, because he's a chemistry teacher, an organic chemistry teacher, the idea that he could build three-dimensional models through a headset and then it being projected out in the headset so people could see that instead of trying to do it on a flat screen or a flat board. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to get my Vision Pro, my first Vision Pro, so he can do it. But I was talking to him about it as a device. Any thoughts on this?
I would have thought you would be willing to support education, Marty. It's really, really disturbing.
I support education. When I have to buy my own supplies for the job that I do, because it's easier for me to buy my supplies than to have to go through some sort of requisition process.
But an enthusiastic young teacher, you really, I think you're.
Hey, he's got he's got a wedding coming up in May. I am contributing enough to that boy's lifestyle, let's put it that way. I'm glad he's happy. He's got a great fiance. I'm much more happy to contribute to that than I would be to contribute to him with an headset. Although if I put it to him, would you rather have me contribute to your wedding, or would you rather have me contribute to your headset? I don't know. I don't think. That would start a big fight there. Here's the thing. Did you guys, well, you haven't done the upgrade yet. This new app, especially for Vision Pro users, I upgraded, and sure enough, it showed up on my iPad. And it says a lot of things that it can do. New and noteworthy experiences available on the Apple Vision Pro. I was less than thrilled about what was available. I also upgraded my iOS on my phone, and I have not been to the Vision Pro app on the phone very much because it's frankly disappointing. But some of the discussion on this was, you'll be able to source out your, what apps you have. It'll be, connected, and you'll have your own kind of, that's been the word on it. And I certainly don't see it. And maybe that will come with an M5. I don't know, but there's nothing impressive to me, that's impressive about this app, other than it has like app categories. And when you click on the category, it opens up and gives you about 20 apps that you either don't have that you should get, or that you have in your library and you can download. But it's not the app library search engine that I was hoping for.
I think all they need to do, really, they actually have the perfect app to copy paste and do all the same functionality for the Vision Pro. The Apple Watch app. If you give me all the equivalent functionality of that Apple Watch app on the phone, but for Vision Pro things, that'd be great. I mean, even if it was just rearranging the home screen around on the phone, like you can do it on the phone for your watch, because it's easier to do it with your finger than, your finger on tiny screen. So literally just copy paste that, Vision Proify it up, which it already is kind of Vision Pro-y in terms of the styling, And there's your bare baseline, and then go from there. Like, and that even has app discovery and all of those things. So it's like, I don't know why that, I mean, I think that's probably what they'll do eventually, but like, come on here, let's go. Like, come on.
Yeah. This article that's in trustedreviews.com, with iPad support, Apple is giving users a larger and more convenient workspace for querying downloads, exploring content, organizing their library, and customizing the Vision Pro experience with greater ease. I don't see that from my look in the app. And so, next week, if you get around to an upgrade, I'm doing developer upgrades, so that's a little bit different. But if you're doing an upgrade, and I think it has to roll out with iPad OS 2.6, 26.1. So you should be able to capture it there. And I just have not been impressed with it. And, it forced me to look at what was on the phone, very similar sort of design and layout. And for the life of me, it's been so long that I've used that app on the phone that I can't tell you whether or not it has anything different, remarkably different from the previous release of what's on the phone. So
does it let you buy an app on the iPad for the Vision Pro? Because you can do that on the phone and you couldn't on the iPad. So I was hoping that it gives you that ability, because half the time I hear about an app and I'm not using my Vision Pro right that second. And it's nice to be able to just say, yep, download. And then whenever I get to the Vision Pro a little bit later in the day, it pops up.
Yeah, but it does. I would think it does, because what it gave me when I went into certain categories was like the cloud with the download I've already got this.
Oh,
let me go ahead but I don't have it mounted. And then Get would allow me to get the app. And then when I went to the iPad, I'd go into purchase, or the Vision Pro, I'd go into purchases and download it eventually onto my device. But it's only like, here are the 10 or 15 that we think are important in terms of, or here are the 10 or 15 that we think are important in terms of productivity. But it wouldn't, it's not like I can search all the apps that are out there that are Vision Pro based.
The next time you see a link to an app in Reddit, try clicking on it in an iPad and see if it lets you actually, purchase the app. Try to.
Interesting, because one of the apps
I couldn't do it on an iPad before.
Yeah, one of the apps I was going to talk about tonight, I purchased the app through my iPhone because I was reading Reddit on iPhone, and it allowed me to do that, but I couldn't find it in the App Store. Although it took me to the App Store, when I searched the App Store, I couldn't find it. And then when I went on to Google and put the name of the app and Apple, usually you can get to the page that describes it. And that's what I wanted to put in for the show tonight for this app, but I couldn't find it. So now and then I went to the developer site, and the developer said, under the apps, it had the app listed on a drop down, and I clicked on it and it said, coming soon. Well, it's already out there. I just paid for it. So I just did not have enough to put in the show this time. But I did play with the app. It's kind of interesting. And maybe we'll get to it next time. And speaking of next time, let's see. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about. Yeah, we already did. Is this, and it's just kind of a helpful website. Geeky Gadgets did a article on, and thanks, Daniel, because you brought this up, Mastering the Art of Customizing Your Apple Vision Pro Home View. And it really gives a lot of good stuff. And as it's been described, it's good for people who have done this and kind of learn it each time they do it. But it's also good if you've got to do a training on it or something. This will be very helpful for folks who are going to do that. So I won't talk about it because I'm looking at what time we have left. And we do want to talk about Spooky Vision. There is a article I'll leave in the show notes that is a Apple Vision Pro 2. See, even they have it wrong. And this is XR Today versus Samsung Project Muhan review, where they compare the specs between the two. And I'll put that in the show notes so you can take a look at it. for folks who are interested in that comparison, and probably interesting to look at when we see what Samsung does in their announcement tomorrow night. All right, Spooky Vision. Yeah, my stuff is coming up in French.
It did for me too.
And I'm on the page now where I switched it to always translate to English. Eric, tell us about Spooky Vision.
I didn't realize you had to talk to everybody in French. Yeah, mine came up in French too, so who knows? I blame Reddit. So it sticks you in an environment where, whatever you're looking at in your room, it just dumps spiders galore everywhere, has little clouds that spit out pumpkins and little piles of dust and candles. Lots and lots and lots of candles. I made a mistake of waiting a little bit, turning my head, and all of a sudden I had candles on my right, candles on my left. Yeah, cauldrons filled with some weird liquid. Yeah, it doesn't seem to give you lots of controls over how to adjust how many and how frequently, but you are definitely surrounded by pumpkins and candles and spiders and spooky stuff. If you're bothered by spiders, don't use this app. But it gives you lots of warnings.
Yeah, and it's got the best price available for it whatsoever. It's absolutely free.
And it was delightfully fun.
Okay, we'll take your word on it. Wow, what a show. And I think we had a good show in terms of talking about the new device, some of the controversy with it, the developer strap. We covered a lot of territory. The Muse stylus. And we did manage to get one app in there. So you can follow us on the live stream on youtube.com/@visionprofiles on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, or catch the video later on YouTube or the audio on any podcatcher service. Vision Pro Notes, as new stuff comes out, we try to get it out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. So I'll be scrounging the news services to find something to talk about that we haven't talked about yet, because I'm surprised how we talk about things on this show, and then it gets into the news feeds. Not that we're creating the news, but we get it right away, and then it's forever in the news feeds. It's picked up by other sources. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of fulfilling when you do that. But let's check out where we can find people, and let's go ahead and start with Dave this time.
All right. Well, thanks, Marty. Always a pleasure being here. You can find me at InTouchWithIOS, InTouchWithIOS.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/InTouchWithIOS. I'm here on Monday nights on Vision Profiles. On Tuesday nights with Marty and Eric. I'm on Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner. Thursday nights we record In Touch with iOS. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, as well as I'm on the Mac Show most weeks on the British Tech Network and on social media. Find me at DaveG65 at Blue Sky and Mastodon. Thanks.
Dave, getting a full screen shot of you with your studio now, it really looks very cool. I mean, you've got things kind of organized on the desk to your left. I can see coffee mugs over on the right.
Mac stock.
Yep.
They're over there.
Yeah, right. All Mac. That's what I figured they were, Mac stock coffee mugs. So it's just cool to see as your office. And now with a new camera angle, with new lighting, it's just really nice how you've been working on that. Daniel, how can we find you?
Well, you can find me here every other week or so. And otherwise, my only other social is on Blue Sky, IO Expander.
All right. Great. Eric.
Here, of course, on Monday nights, Tuesdays on Mac Voices, Thursdays on In Touch with iOS, covering all of the different OSs throughout the week and kind of rounding them out on Thursday. Otherwise, you can reach me on Mastodon at eaboldman.mas.to.
All right. And me, Monday nights here, Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Dave and Eric. And then Thursday nights with Dave Ginsburg and Eric on In Touch with iOS. I got a bunch of other projects that you can trace by going to the podtalk.network and find other different podcasts and projects I'm involved in. And then occasionally Friday mornings when I'm not sitting in hospitals or getting testing done, And this week, actually, I'm going to try and make it because I told somebody, no, I can't possibly do a meeting until later Friday afternoon. But that's on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. That streams live 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank you guys for doing all this. It's fun. It's exciting. We've got some new product coming out. We've got some rumors getting cleared up in the next week about what things can and can't do. You can find us and find information about us at thepodtalk.net. You can also email us at thepodtalknetwork@gmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. Our bumper music is Free Jazzy by Steve Combs, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. You can learn more about us again at thepodtalk.net. Spread the word to other visionaries. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.